So let's jump right into it and talk about what you can expect from the Georgia's defense and what KJ Jefferson needs to do against Georgia's defense to put Arkansas in the best position offensively. And then we're going to look at film from Georgia's game against Clemson, and we're going to look at some film of Georgia against Arkansas from 2020. Look at some similarities and some differences. But I think the big takeaways you'll see on Georgia's defense and watching is obviously they're damn good. I'm just being honest. They are a very good defense. They do a lot of stuff pre-snap. They'll show you a lot of things pre-snap. Excuse me, and then they'll do something else post snap. So they have a lot of different schemes they can play, and they can do it very well. You'll see some two up top safeties. You'll see one up top safeties. A lot of times, depending on the down and distance, you'll see two up top safeties rolled into one, with that one of those safeties becoming a robber. So you'll see a lot of different things. We're going to look at in the film. I'll break it down a bit more into the film, but Georgia does a lot pre-snap and to post-snap, and you'll see they do different things on second and third and 10 compared to third and fourth. Compared to third down, third and 4, third and 5. And their biggest thing, I think Arkansas fans will see some similarities with their own defense. Sometimes they'll only bring 3 and drop 8 into coverage and want you to throw it underneath. Other times, it's like they know exactly when to blitz. So let's look at some of Georgia's defensive numbers real quick. So the number 1 passing defense in the SEC right now. And Arkansas is not too far behind, actually, defensively. So Georgia's only given up 1 touchdown through the air. They have 7 interceptions, which is number 1 in the SEC. That 1 touchdown in the air is tied for number 1 in the SEC with Arkansas, actually. They have 4.6 yards per attempt. Phenomenal. Their passing completion against them, the percentage, is 46.5, if I can read my own handwriting. And it's not like they've played FCS teams, right? They've obviously got Clemson. They played South Carolina, Vanderbilt, UAB. I know you can say what you want about the offenses for Vanderbilt and South Carolina, but still, those are SEC offenses that they've just dominated, right? And so, a lot of good takeaways from the Georgia defense. But if I'm KJ Jefferson, there are ways to beat that defense. And we're going to look at what I think he needs to do. And I think, honestly, it's take what they give you first and foremost, especially early in the game. You want to be you want to be in the game in the fourth quarter, right? So how can you be in the game in the fourth quarter? I think it's a little different than what we wanted to do against A&M. A&M, we wanted to take some deep shots early and often and complete those. I think against Georgia, I think what they're going to want to do is they're going to invite you to throw those kind of underneath routes. I think you take them and hope that one of your weapons, one of your receivers or running backs can break a tackle and get a first down. I think that's a big key. And then knowing when to take those deep shots later on in the game. But again, you want to play into the fourth quarter, and you also want to avoid getting on 3rd and 10. You want to avoid being 3rd and long. So take what they give you, march down the field, do it methodically. Excuse me. And then I think if Jefferson can run, I know it's I don't know the exact health. I read something yesterday that they think he'll be a full go. But if he can be a threat running, I think that can also throw Georgia's defensive scheme out of what they kind of want to do. But again, one of the best defenses in the country, if not the best defense. So I think you take what they give you, you use that run game a little bit, and then you ask your guys to win some one-on-one matchups. Like, they're going to need to win some one-on-one matchups late in the game to win this game. And I think getting Burks, if you can get him in some kind of favorable mismatches, put him in the backfield some, line up on a linebacker, that could be huge as well. I don't want to talk too much. I've already been talking a lot, but there's a lot of stuff to get to. I could make this video 30 minutes if I want to, doing all this breakdown, but I did not. So I'll stop now. We'll go into the film. We're going to look at film against Clemson. Then we're going to look at some film against the 2020 film from Georgia against Arkansas, and we can kind of see the similarities and differences. But look at what they do pre-snap compared to post-snap, and just look at what they do on 2nd and 3rd and 10 compared to 3rd and 4. Excuse me, compared to 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. Sorry I'm talking so much. Subscribe to the channel to that quarterback stuff, and we will get going into this breakdown. So here's a 3rd and 8 against Clemson, and this is going to look similar to Arkansas fans. Just this Georgia's defense for this specific play call here. They got 3 down linemen. They only bring 3. They drop 8 into coverage here, forcing DJ to hold on to the ball because there's really no one there, and then eventually pressure gets there with a 3-man rush. So this forces the quarterback to try to make a decision, try to make it kind of fairly quickly, just because you got one thing pre-snap. You're going to see they roll down to more of a cover 1, some kind of off-man bail techniques here, maybe a cover 1 robber with the safety coming in, but pre-snap you see 2 up-top safeties, post-snap is just 1. So again, Georgia's defense is very complex at certain times. We see a 3rd and 8, only 3 guys come. We're going to see open receiver here, but for the most part, that's all you got. So I think in this situation for KJ, either taking the sack, even though you don't really recommend that, or just taking a check down, even if you know he's not past the first down marker. That's okay, right? Especially in a game against Georgia. Sometimes you have to live to fight when they're down. So live to fight another play. No, they're done. Live to fight another play. I'm sorry. Take what the defense gives you, and maybe one of your receivers can break a tackle and get a first down here. Eventually, Georgia's pass rush does get there, but Arkansas's got a good offensive line. If they only bring 3, I would suspect that there's some type of check down where even if everyone's covered downfield, get the ball out to someone in the open and maybe he can break free for a first down. So here's a great example of what we were just discussing in the previous play. So a little different look that Georgia has. So they're bringing 4 here, right? So 4 guys are coming, and they're dropping 7 back into coverage here. We have a spread here, no one in the backfield, so you got 5 receivers. And we see 2 up top safeties. This time they stay with 2 up top safeties. They don't roll anything, so you probably got some type of cover 2 off man under. Probably looks like that, or especially this probably isn't a quarters look on a 3rd and 7. Regardless, though, we have off coverage here. They want Clemson to throw it underneath so they can make the tackle, right? And this is what I want KJ Jefferson to do. What I would be kind of preaching for KJ Jefferson to do. Take this here, and then trust that your receiver or your playmaker, or whoever it may be, is able to break a tackle and get a first down here, right? Boom. If they can do that a few times, and again, Georgia's defense is stout, you're not always going to be able to break tackles, but if they can do that a few times, it can help keep drives alive, but at the very least not put the ball into a bad situation here. So a good example of take what the defense gives you, hit it down low here, because Georgia, if they give you that throw, and just trust and hope and preach that your receiver or running back, whoever it may be, can break a tackle. And eventually, when Georgia starts creeping, that's when you take the shot. But for a situation like this, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, if they're going to give you that throw, I think for the most part, at least early in the game, take it and see if your guys can break a tackle and get a first down. So here's a little different look from Georgia, but that's because Clemson is showing a little different look. They're not spread out, and so we got trips bunched to this side, receiver top of the screen, and then 1 running back here. So we got, 8 guys in the box for Georgia if we include this safety here. 8 guys in the box with the off coverage, or an off-man DB back here, then press man right here. So we got just straight man here, and so you're going to see DJ make a good throw on this slant here. But I think if you get this situation, I actually kind of like this because I think you could potentially put maybe Burks in the backfield or someone in the backfield like that and look to get him the ball quickly. Underneath throw here. Now, eventually this is where the ball comes to. But if they're in man defense, having some quick rub routes or kind of quick throws like this where it's just like literally one read. If he's not there, throw to him. If he's not there, tell KJ to take off or just steal it over his head, right? Ends up being a good read, good throw here for DJ. But for KJ here, I think if you get these bunch formations, which I would imagine Arkansas will do some. I don't think they want to. I think they want to kind of keep Georgia's defense on their toes, so they'll go spread some, and they'll have some bunch formations as well. But if you get Burks in the backfield and try to find creative ways to get him lined up against like a linebacker as opposed to a safety or a DB, that could be a potential mismatch there and try to get him the ball in creative ways. But regardless, this could be a way to attack Georgia's defense, keeping them off balance. Don't get in complete spread or complete 10 personnel, but come in, especially with what Arkansas does with their tight ends. I can see some quick passes like that being available. So here's a familiar formation to the Arkansas offense where you got a tight end here, back on the side, and usually you'll see some type of RPO scheme from this formation. Potential for Jefferson to give the ball to the running back, roll out here, and sometimes the tight end will come out in the flat route. So I think what you could really see from Jefferson, again, this depends on his lower half, how much he's recovered. Again, I don't know a ton of information about that, but hopefully he's back up to at least close to full speed. And if he's a threat running the ball, that could put Georgia in a bigger bind than what they were in against Clemson, because now DJ is not a bad athlete, but he's not what KJ is, right? He's not the threat KJ is. KJ can get downhill and going if he's healthy, but he also has that potential option if that tight end flares out here. So if he's healthy, I would expect several rollouts just to keep Georgia's defense honest and not have them in the same kind of schematical play calling that they were in against Clemson. Now, this ends up being a completion for Clemson here, but again, I think with KJ you have much more of a threat of rolling out, getting that RPO game going on the edge. So I would like to see that from Arkansas. I think that could keep Georgia from doing all they want to do defensively, but again, that largely depends on KJ's lower half and him being healthy. At the end of the day, Georgia's got such a stout defense, you're going to have to convert on some big plays regardless, but I would like to see some RPO schemes with Jefferson on the outside. So here is DJ throwing a pick 6 against Georgia, and this is what we obviously don't want to do if you're Arkansas, and this is where you really take the sack here. But Again, Georgia's defense does remind me of Arkansas's defense. 3 down linemen, a lot of times they'll just bring 3, but they know when to bring pressure. They know when to blitz, right? It's like the perfect play call. So they're going to bring 5 here. That creates a quicker throw than what DJ wants, and then you'll see how quickly the Georgia's DBs can break. You got 1 up top safety here. So you got man across the board, even though he's playing way off here, right? So it's a good job by Georgia kind of disguising. So you see he gets right into the zone. He already knows what to cover, where to go. So maybe it's not man under, at least this position. Maybe he has a zone. Regardless, though, he's showing one thing pre-snap, another thing post-snap. Pressure comes. DJ's looking the whole way here. He's throwing the ball there. Look how quickly this DB breaks on this ball here. I mean, it's hella impressive, and the rest is history. He runs for a pick 6 here. So with that play call, they bring more than 3. They bring 5, and they know when to bring pressure. So if that happens, sometimes they just take that sack, try to take off and run when you see that because they're doing a good job disguising the back end there. So just another example of what Georgia can throw at you. It's not just going to be 3 guys or 4 guys coming. They do a good job disguising what they're doing defensively, and then whatever they show pre-snap, a lot of times is not what they are going to be in post-snap. So here's some quick film from the 2020 season of Georgia and Arkansas here, and we're going to see kind of similar to what we just saw against Clemson. To be honest, it's going to be a little different, but you got only 2 down linemen here, so they're showing 4. They end up bringing 4, but it's not the 4 guys you think they're going to bring, right? And it's a 3rd and 10 passing situation. You got 2 up top safeties. You're thinking, okay, this could be quarters here potentially, but regardless, it's the same scheme of what they were showing against Clemson, where they're inviting you to throw these underneath routes. They're trying to get pressure, disguise it, even though they're only bringing 4 and dropping 7, but they want you to throw these underneath routes. So we'll see in this play here that 4 guys come, but it's not the 4 you think, right? It's a backer here. They bring this guy out, and then look at the DBs. They're giving you this space if you want it right now. Of course, Arkansas is running everything deep right here. It's a 3rd and 10. They're trying to get past the sticks. Pressure comes. Georgia does a good job defending all that. There's literally just nothing there. So again, in that situation, like we talked about earlier, having some type of check down, I think having the tight end in the flat, I think you have a much different offense this year with Jefferson's ability to run, so you have that option as well, even though Franks was a decent runner last year. So again, it hinges on how healthy Jefferson is, but I think in these situations, 3rd and 10, unless you have to force it, unless you're driving, you have to score, I'm having some type of underneath route here and just hopefully or potentially asking your guy to break a tackle, get a first down. Long story short, try not to get in 3rd and 10s, right? 3rd and 10s is going to be hard to convert against Georgia. So here's a 3rd and 5 here, and we'll go ahead and count this as basically a passing situation. But it's another example of Georgia just doing something else different on defense, right? They got 1 up top safety now. So a lot of times when you've seen that like 8, 10 plus yards, you've seen 2 up top safeties. Whenever it's been 5 or 4 yards on 3rd down, it's been kind of 1 up top safety, and you're going to see pressure come. So Georgia's bringing 5, just like we talked about in the previous film against Clemson. They know when to blitz, and it's kind of just like however they do it, it's perfect timing, if you will. Now, this play ends up being a screen pass. There's really nothing there, but it's just an example of Georgia going man whenever it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and then bringing pressure here. So I think if you know when that pressure is coming and you have a quick safety valve, that'd be huge for KJ. And then just knowing when pressure comes, it's okay to eat it sometimes and live to fight another down. Let's watch this angle here real quick so we can see. Again, only 2 down linemen, but it looks like these 4 are coming. And like we mentioned, a lot of times it's not always the case from pre-snap to post-snap because this guy is taking the running back man and they're bringing 5 here. So realizing that, knowing that, and just knowing defense, Georgia's going to throw a lot at you. Even if you don't convert on it, knowing they're throwing a lot at you, I think can help you not get in bad situations and not have bad plays. So here's a 1st and 10, excuse me, and I wanted to show this because I think it's a perfect example of what Georgia's going to try to do defensively, and that is just disguise coverage, show one thing pre-snap, another thing post-snap. I know we've talked about it on this video breakdown so far, but this is probably the best example of what they can potentially do and what they're trying to do, and this is how they got that pick 6 against Clemson this past year. So you got 4 down linemen, you're bringing 4. They end up bringing more pressure here. We're going to see here. Let me keep playing. And also, sorry, I'll pause it. It looks like, I know the safety's creeped up, but before he creeped up, pre-snap, you had 2 up top safeties. And I've talked about this on the channel breakdown before, a lot of times you can tell it's a true cover 2, cover 4 type deal because the safeties are more evenly apart. Whenever the safeties are kind of within the hashes of each other, sometimes that can be a sign that, okay, it's probably only one up top safety with this safety coming in trying to bait me. A lot of times you call it the cover 1 robber where they try to bait you to make a throw. And a lot of times they have robber with blitzing, right? So if that safety creeps up, a lot of times you're going to get a blitz. You get a blitz. They bring 6 guys here. This safety creeps up to try to take any throws underneath. This play, I think they're all deep here. Yeah, you got a true cover 1 man under. And so I think here, cover 1 man under. Like the throws you saw Jefferson make against A&M, he threw the back shoulder throw to the receiver down here. I forget who it was. He hit Burks deep going this way in stride on good coverage. So I think whenever you do take the shots downfield, you're going to have to, one, have your receivers beat Georgia's DBs, which is a tall task to ask. But I think Burks is up for the challenge. Then 2, I think Jefferson being a pinpoint accurate whenever he's pushing it downfield to give his guys a chance. But this is a perfect example of what Georgia is going to try to do. We'll run it real quick. I know I'm being lengthy here, but I like this play a lot to show because they did this in Clemson game as well. They showed 2 safeties, then they only have 1 safety. They bring 6. They try to bait you into throwing down here because a lot of times that's what you're taught to do. Replace where the blitzing guys are coming. Replace it. That safety is here to pick it off. But this situation, again, there's no one going over the middle of the field. Take a shot deep. That's a fine throw right there just to get either your guy catches it or no one catches it. So I think for Jefferson remembering that, I think it'd be a good way to avoid bad plays as well. Sorry for the lengthy video. Again, I apologize. I know it's long, but I wanted to get the point across that Georgia does a lot defensively. They show a lot pre-snap. They do a lot post-snap, right? Sometimes they bring pressure. Sometimes they don't. They know exactly when to dial it up. And so I think we did a decent job breaking down in film of what you could potentially see. But at the end of the day, Georgia's defense is so good and talented, you can see something totally different because of what Arkansas brings offensively. But if I'm Jefferson, if I am the Arkansas offense, I'm preaching take what they give me, at least early in the game, right? So you can be within the game. Try to get Jefferson outside the pocket, some easy passes to the tight end like you've seen him do, if his legs are able to do that. And then you're going to have to ask some of your top receivers to just make some, to just win some battles in one-on-one. And that's a hard thing to ask against Georgia's defense, but that's how you're going to win this game because Georgia's defense is stout. Also, Arkansas got a good defense as well, so I think this is going to be a closer game. The point spread suggests that right now it's like 18.5. Georgia's the favorite. But we're looking forward to this game. Again, I could keep going on and on. I'm sorry, I'll be done now, but I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the game, what you think KJ Jefferson needs to do. If you want me to do a JT Daniels breakdown against Arkansas defense, let me know that as well. And we'll see you next time on the next quarterback-related video.